Well, I am so excited to be with you here this morning, and for the next couple days, I'll get to meet a lot of you and spend some time with you. And I love this topic that we're getting to dive into. We're talking about continuous improvement, and in my words, it's a proactive and inspired approach to change, which we have a lot of, to challenges, which we have in boatloads, and to just progress. And so how can we keep moving forward well? Before I get into the content, though, I want to set the tone by having just a quick conversation with you. And we're going to do some interactive things throughout the morning, and so I want you to just get your feet wet here this morning. So get ready to talk to the people around you, feedback with me even, and we'll have a good time this morning, right? Hopefully we'll learn something, we'll have some fun, and connect on a new level with each other, but also with this amazing value of continuous improvement. Okay, so to break the ice here, the first question I want to ask you, and I'm going to take a couple volunteers to give me some feedback. You can write it down on your table or on a piece of paper or something like that. But the first question is this: why this line of work, okay? And here's a cue. You cannot say, I didn't pick it, I just fell into it, or it chose me, okay? It doesn't count. You might have fell into it, or you might have stumbled upon it, but the truth is you've chosen to stay. And so whether it's for a day and you're brand new or whatever it is, there's a reason why. And so my question for you is why? Is it the team? Is it what you get to do? What is it about your role, about your job, about your team, about this collective group or department that you're in that goes, you know what, that's one of the main reasons why I love what I do or why I appreciate this job. Who can start out? You can raise your hand. You can holler out. I think we've got a microphone somewhere. Kayla? No? Yes? Okay. All right. So raise your hand if you can holler out and just let me know, what's your why? Why this line of work? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea, Environmental Services.
Hello.
I love what I do because I have the ability to affect change.
Yes. I love that. And what do you do? Do you mind sharing? Can you guys hear me? What do you do?
I'm a senior consumer health specialist with Environmental Services. So we do health inspections for restaurants, childcare, swimming pools.
So being able to initiate change, that is exciting. I agree with that. One or two more. Raise your hand if you can share your why. Why this line of work? Why this team? Yes.
Got one.
Mm-hmm.
Got one. Can you stand up?
I'm Troy Gardner, work for TPW Construction Services, supervisor for inspections, and just making sure that we provide a good product for the citizens and our customers through inspections of the infrastructure for development and new capital improvement projects.
Love it. Thank you so much. So being able to help people provide good products, yeah? Yeah, give them up.
Fabulous.
So here's what I want you to hear, and that's just a little snapshot of people in the room. But I heard some of helping people, serving people who would say that's by a lifting of your hand, like, yep, that's me. I just enjoy serving people, helping people. Anybody? Okay. I heard I like initiating change. So those instigator type personalities, who would agree with that? Like I enjoy initiating change. Yeah. I heard a lot of excellence in service. Who likes to make sure that the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and everything's done excellently? Yeah. Okay. And so I heard a few different things, but here's what I want you to do is as we walk through today and we consider how we can be continuously improving, consider your why. Because those are the things that drive you when times get hard or when things get boring even, either side of the spectrum. So what is your why? Now the second part here and second question is, what is your biggest challenge right now? What is your biggest challenge that you find in your role, in your department, in your team? You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty, please. But just what are some of the challenges that you face? Just quick fire. It won't take as much time on this one. All right, raise your hand. You can holler out. We get a microphone to you. Either way. Biggest challenge that you face? Education. There you go. There's one. Purchasing. Oh, we got a rise out of that one. Okay. All right, what else?
Hold it. They couldn't hear you. Say it again.
Equipment repair.
Equipment repair. Yes. Okay. the mechanics of everything. All right, what else? What other challenges?
You said retention.
Retention. Yes. Ooh, I guess. Oh, y'all are okay. We're getting the juices going. I hear you. All right. Any other challenges? I hear you, but barely. Growth. Yes, the challenges that
Working
growth
with people that
presents.
haven't worked with purchasing.
Say it one more time.
Did you hear that? She may need to repeat it. Go ahead.
I didn't hear it.
Working with others that have not worked with purchasing.
Okay. So so sometimes team dynamics can be a challenge, different learning levels, different ways of handling challenges.
It's understanding the purchasing process and then also the overturn in the other departments. So
Yes.
once you get kind of somebody trained, then new people come in, so
Yeah.
you have to teach over again.
Okay, this is so perfect for where we're about to go. Yes. So there's all the things that change presents. All right, I'm going to move on from this. But I want you to consider, even if you didn't say it out loud, but you thought it, what is some of your biggest challenges? Honestly, we all have challenges. Some of them are directly in the line of work that we have, but it could be that your greatest challenges right now that are affecting your work are actually personal. And so there's all kinds of reasons and challenges that we face in life and that affect work or in our profession or whatever. As we think about continuous improvement, I want you to think about those problems and those challenges as well. Because I truly believe that our challenges, our problems, our roadblocks are our greatest opportunities for growth. They're our greatest opportunities for creativity. They're our greatest opportunities for connection to one another. I mean, think about team members and people in general that you're close to. If you have a good relationship with them, why is it? I guarantee one of the reasons is because you've walked through some challenges together, right? And you've walked through them well. That's one of the most bonding things. So as we talk about continuous improvement, consider these challenges, okay? All right, let's get into this. So the goal of continuous improvement is to shape a culture of work where enhancement is always on the table. When there's a problem, when there's a setback, enhancement is on the table. There's those papers there that you can follow along with me if you want, and I will have you write some things down later on. But the goal of continuous improvement is to shape a culture where enhancement, where improvement, it's always on the table. So whether things are going great and we have a meeting and we have some considerations, guess what? Enhancement's always on the table. Doesn't matter what's going on. And the way that enhancement is always on the table and improvement happens is through personal assessment, strategic optimization, and then through incremental follow through. And that's just kind of an overview there. Now, inevitably, I know that there are people here this morning who are like, why am I here? I know I was kind of strongly encouraged to be here, but why is this important to me in my job, in my role? And so for any number of people out there, I always like to provide some statistics or numbers just to support why we're taking this approach. A couple statistics here that I wanted to highlight. The American Productivity and Quality Center indicates that 75%, that's a lot, 75% of top performing organizations attribute their success to robust continuous improvement initiatives. So the success of your department, the success of this team collectively, if we can embrace the culture of continuous improvement, it is going to be a top performing city, department, team, etc. Another statistic here is that the research from McKinsey & Company indicates that companies actively practicing continuous improvement, so companies who always have continuous improvement on the table, that they see a 10 to 30% increase in efficiency. And I don't know about you, but I'm always looking, how can I be more efficient with my time? How can I be more efficient with my energy? How can I be more efficient in my leadership? All these things. Efficiency frees us up. It frees your brain up. It frees your time up. It gives you time to focus on growth and to be future focused. And so these are the reasons why, or some of the reasons why, we are focusing on continuous improvement today. Okay, so does anyone feel like change is happening frequently these days? Raise your hand if you feel like change is happening a lot. Yeah, okay. There's some hands up. So if you feel like change is happening a lot in technology, in the world, or in your departments, in the city of Fort Worth. You are not dreaming. It is true. And I want to share with you a couple statistics that really are staggering. This one right here just blew my mind. It says that the rate of change affecting businesses today has continuously increased since 2019. But the percentage rate, that's what's wild. It's 183% increase of the rate of change. Like, there used to be changes in cities and in organizations like every few years, right? Now it's almost every single day that there's new technology, there's new plans, there's new processes, there's shifts in how we see things, budgets, that kind of thing. And then it shows there that overall the top one is technology, and then some different things, talent, turnover rates, all kinds of things affecting that rate of change, which you guys even mentioned as some of the challenges that you face in your departments and groups. As well, within specifically the city of Fort Worth and the teams and the departments that exist here, you all have seen a lot of change. I got to have some great conversations with some team members leading up to this. And here's some of the things that they noticed and acknowledged to me as here's some of the changes that we've been experiencing. Let me know if you guys relate to these. There's been physical location changes, right? And that causes some disruption. There's been city demographic changes and growth. Someone mentioned that in the beginning. There's been new policies for AI and data governance that changes the way we see things, the way we approach things. It presents a learning curve on everyone's part. There's been new initiatives like strategic foresight. There's been budget fluctuations, times of plenty, times of lean. And then there's been positions and employee fluctuations as well. Who would say you feel those changes? Anybody? Yeah. All right. Those are big changes. Those are nothing to blink at and go, oh, no big deal. Those are all pretty big changes. And so how we handle the changes is going to determine if we can make continuous improvement. So here's the balcony view of continuous improvement. Like, if you're watching the waves of changes and you're feeling the waves of changes, and then you step back and you go, what's actually going on here? How do we make progress? How do we have continuous improvement? There's a pattern to it, okay? I know you may not think this, but in high school, I ran track. I know, with these short, stubby legs, yes, I did. I didn't say I was good, but I did it, right? And so when I ran track, one of the things I learned was how to start off the race. And when you start, any track runners, cross-country runners in here, in your former life, in your teenage years? Okay, good. Regardless, you've seen the Olympics probably. Okay, so when you start off a run, there's the ready, set, go. And when you get ready for something, this is the process of growth. I'm going to break it down for you because I'm giving you some handles to remember. When you get ready to run a race, the first thing you do is you bend down, right? You get on one knee, or like this, where your hands are down, your knees are down, and you're just in ready position. You're grounded. You're able to assess your lane, figure out what's going on, and you're just set. You're like, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. The next thing that happens when you're running a race is you get set, which is when you come off your knee, and you can't stay in that position for long. It's actually pretty uncomfortable, and your quadriceps will start burning. So you get set, but this is when you're in a position to take off. You optimize, you have your eyes ahead, you're strategizing. This is what I'm about to do. I see the path ahead. And then the last thing is you go. And so with that positioning, you take off and you create that burst of momentum, and then of course you follow through. This is how continuous improvement looks, over and over and over again. No matter the change, no matter the problem, no matter the setback, no matter the issue on the table, this is how continuous improvement happens. You get grounded, you assess, you optimize, you strategize, and then you take off and you follow through. So what I'm going to do for the next few minutes is I'm going to break this down or unpack it, however you want to put it, and we're going to look at these individually. So the first step is ready. So when you're getting ready for something, you're in grounded position, right? It's almost like you're at rest, like you're taking a breath. Everyone take a deep breath with me. You're like, I needed that. You're talking fast. So when you're getting ready, you're in a grounded position. So you're going, what's going on here? You're assessing, you're accepting the new realities that are right now at your doorstep. And let me tell you, this is not something that comes easily. There was a season in my life, I remember I was frustrated with myself because I felt like I kept getting knocked down every time a change happened. But here's the deal, I was in a season of continuous change. Every day there was new realities, and every day it felt like I was trying to get back on my feet because I'd get knocked down by a wave of a change. And I was so frustrated, and I remember one morning I was sitting down with my cup of coffee in the morning, having my little me time before the kids woke up, and I was sitting there and I just was so mad, and I just had this thought, if I can just understand the cycle of what's happening here, maybe I wouldn't be caught off guard what seems like every day by the changes. And so that's when I wrote this down. This is like a real true picture from that day. I just grabbed a piece of copy paper from the printer, and I just said, here's the cycle of growth, and this is what I need to understand. There's going to be a new reality, and the new realities are going to continue to hit me, wave after wave. What is my job to do? Don't take too long to accept the new reality, because that's what was getting me held up, is that I was just like, I don't want to change. I don't want another change. I don't want another setback. I don't want another roadblock. And that acceptance piece right there was and is still one of the toughest things for me to do, because it creates momentum. It creates momentum, and it really frees me to go, okay, here's what I'm working with. And so I had to get to that point, and then, and only then, could I get new hope, create positive change, that kind of thing. But when you're getting grounded, the first thing you have to do is accept the new realities that are happening in life, in your work, in your department right now. Some things might be popping up in your mind, like, I've been resisting that change. I've been trying to put that on the back burner, and if I just bring it to the forefront, then I can actually handle it and deal with it. The second part of getting ready and getting really in that ready position is assessing. And this is what asking good questions is all about. I love what John Maxwell says. He says that good leaders ask great questions. So you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be an expert in all things. Here's what you need to do in order to grow and initiate continuous improvement. You need to ask good questions. You just need to be curious. It's actually not as hard as we make it out to be. And so asking good questions, sometimes it can come naturally, but a lot of times we have to get past ourselves, our pride, our fear, in order to ask the right questions. Couple examples. One is a moment that I had when I was 21 years old, and I was home from college. And my mom went out of town. I had a little brother who was significantly younger than me, 11 years old, and so he went to go stay at a friend's house, and my mom was out of town, and so I was home alone, just a 21-year-old girl, no big deal, I could handle it, until it was 2 a.m., and I heard a pounding maniac sound on my screen door, on my glass screen door in the backyard. And so in my mind, I thought someone's trying to break in. I just imagined like something bad's about to happen. And I remember I popped up, I called 911, I said, somebody's trying to get in my house, can you send someone to check this out? And it wouldn't stop, it was like pounding, 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 just like someone was pounding down the glass door. And I thought it was gonna break. And so I was on the phone with 911, and this really sweet lady was on the line, and she was like, okay, I've got somebody that's 6 minutes away, they'll be there. I'm like, 6 minutes? I'm gonna be there in 6 minutes, right? Like, I was so scared. And so she was like, oh, okay, they're on their way. Have you asked who it is? Have you asked the question who it is? I was like, woman, no, I have not asked who it is. Like, who do you take me for, right? And so I said, no, I have not asked who it is. And she was like, I think you should ask who it is. And I just ignored her, basically. I was like, how far are they away? And I was just getting like 10-second updates as for, like, when are they gonna be here? Because it just didn't stop. And if it did stop, it would stop for like 5 seconds and then start again. And so I was terrified. So she kept saying to me, just ask who it is. Just ask the question who it is. So finally, she wore me down. And I stood, I remember I was about 13 feet from the glass door, and there was a curtain, so I knew they couldn't like see in, and I couldn't see out. And so I was about 13 feet from the glass door, and with every fear and motivating cell in my body to survive, I was like, I'm gonna say who it is. And all I could think to myself was, sound big, sound mean, sound scary, right? And so in my mind, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, sound low, sound big, sound scary. And so in my mind, I was thinking that. And so out of the depths of my being, I yelled, who is it? Like that. It was terrifying. I stripped my vocal cords. No lie. I was like, got sick afterward. And I remember I asked the question and yelled it out, who is it? Like that. And all of a sudden, I heard this tiny little terrified voice on the other side of the glass door. And it was my little brother, my baby brother. And he was going, Monica, Monica, let me in. And I let him in, and I was so mad at him. I was like, what are you doing? He walked 2 miles in the middle of the night home because he had to pee, and he didn't want, they were having an outdoor camp out in the backyard, and he didn't, instead of bothering the parents, he chose to hike home. Yeah, it was dangerous. But nevertheless, I learned a lesson that night, and that was this. You cannot be afraid to ask the right questions. You know, sometimes we build up asking questions or, you know, because it shows our vulnerability or we don't want to look stupid. I mean, we all feel the same things. But the truth is the person who asks the right questions actually looks the smartest. And you get the smartest. So I want you to take a moment right now. Inside that little booklet there that you have that's stapled, there is a page where these 2 questions are written out. What new realities do you need to accept? You know, does it have to do with technology? Does it have to do with turnover? Does it have to do with, I don't know, mechanics, whatever it is? What new realities do you need to accept? Maybe write 1 down, write 2 down. And then the second question there is, how can I gain a better and more positive perspective regarding new realities? I'm just going to give you about 1.5 minutes to do that. To write that down. And so we're going to just play a little bit of music, and I'm going to give you 1 minute starting now. Thank you so much. All right, so when you get ready, you get grounded, you accept new realities, and then you assess, where's the opportunity? Where's the hope? Where's the fresh perspective in this? How can I improve because of this? I was speaking with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about just the innovation and technology and new realities within technology that are constantly being presented. And throughout generations, when new technologies come to the surface and surface up, it inevitably requires us as leaders, as professionals, to upskill. So there's this natural upskilling and learning. And I know I'm over 40 now. I'm telling myself a little bit. And it gets harder, right? With the older you get, you're like, I like my ways. I like my level of technology, but yet it keeps advancing. Anybody with me? Is it just me? Please tell me it's not just me. All right? And so we have to embrace this part, accept it. What's the new reality? How can I benefit from it? How can I make progress and continuous improvement with it? All right, so we get ready, we get grounded. We're on a knee right there. Then you get set like this. And that's when you make a plan. This is about optimizing. This is about strategizing. I heard some of you in the audience when we were talking about why and your challenges. Some people are really great at this part, all right? I enjoy this part myself. For me, getting ready is a tough thing for me. It's a weak point, and so I have to be very intentional with it. Now, getting set, planning, optimizing, strategizing, I love it. I nerd out. Anybody with me? You're just like, I love it. I love planning. Anybody? Nobody? Okay, I see some hands. All right. All right, so when we get set, so if this is a weakness for you, lean in with me, okay? Because I'm going to help you out. Stephen Covey, a great leadership teacher, author, he says, make time for planning because wars are won in the general's tent. I love that quote. So optimizing and strategizing. The first thing we got to do is we got to acknowledge where the hindrances are. What is holding me back? That, like I said, some of the greatest opportunities for growth will come when we accept and address the problems or hindrances, hurdles that are right now keeping you from continuous improvement. So what are those hurdles? For this next portion, we've talked about team, we've talked about the organization, continuous improvement there. But I want you in this next session to consider you personally, your leadership, your professional development, okay? So that's what we're going to lean into for this section. And the question I have is, what is hindering improvement in your professional growth, in your professional continuous improvement journey? And I'm going to give you some examples here. These are different mentalities or ways of thinking that hold people back. They're like the big four, all right? And I'm going to walk through these very quickly, but I'm going to walk through them, and as I do, I want you to identify if there's one that you tend to lean into, or kind of it can be something that you have to face or deal with in your own professional life. So the first mentality is called stubborn idealism, and that is what it is. Think Michael Scott from The Office, okay? You're stubborn and you're idealistic, right? So he loves his paper, right? He did not want to give up the paper. He was stubborn and he was idealistic. But here's the deal. A lot of times these people have a lot of fun being stubborn and idealistic, right? If you've seen The Office, you know that's true. So these people, they're idealistic, which is not always a bad thing, but it can make us closed-minded to change and improvement. And this can really hinder continuous improvement in your professional growth, in career movement, succession planning, career mobility, all those things. It can hold us back. So that's that mentality, stubborn idealism. The second one up there is shiny object syndrome. These people look like they're getting a lot done, like they're just ping, 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 ping. But when you lift up the hood, you see there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot of ground being taken, right? There's almost like a hamster like spinning their wheels. And I identify this as being distracted or just simply undisciplined. When we have shiny object syndrome, you're like, oh, squirrel, right? Think Dory from Finding Nemo, right? She said that short-term memory just, oh, jellyfish, oh, this, oh, that. Always distracted by the next shiny thing. This can really hinder continuous improvement, of course, because you're not able to stick to something. Like you start a job, you're a great starter, but you're not great at following through. The other mentality there, number 3, is swamp thoughts. And these are the thoughts and the mentality that have to do with fear or analysis paralysis. So this might be someone who knows that they're right for a position, or knows that and believes that they have the goods, to apply for that role, but they don't because they're analyzing every single detail about themselves, about the job, about the team, or maybe they're just fearful. I mean, if you think, I put all these movie references in here. Elsa from, Frozen. If you have kids, you know it. But she was locked in her tower. She had the answer. She could bring spring, but she was so fearful and so analyzing what she had that she couldn't see the opportunity there. And people with swamp thoughts get stuck. They get stuck, and oftentimes they're frustrated. I'm not talking about someone who's content. I'm talking about someone who's frustrated with where they are, and they feel like they're stuck. And then the last mentality there is called Titanic syndrome. And, I don't know if you've heard the story, seen the movie, but the reason why that the Titanic sank is because the captain, the crew, they had all this pride, not only in their own ability and how smart they were, but they had all this pride in the ship and how it was unsinkable. And that pride and that arrogance blinded them to the alarms, to the different people who were trying to reach out over the intercom. And really the pride and the arrogance kept them from seeing the huge glacier that they were about to hit. And they thought that they were unsinkable. And lo and behold, their pride and their arrogance was their downfall. And so oftentimes people who get stuck in their own ways, and really it's not even being stuck or comfortable, it's about this belief that it's my way or the highway. Like, I know best. And I might be stepping on some toes even saying that. But inevitably, it will lead to a downfall because we'll be blind to the growth, to the change, to the possibilities that are right ahead of us. Okay, so I just want to take a moment and I want to ask, who in here identifies with one of these and what? We're going to have a moment of vulnerability. You got to be brave. I only need brave and strong people to answer this one, all right? Anybody who can holler out or have a microphone there could say, I'll share mine. I'll be brave. I'll be vulnerable. Anybody?
To Mike.
All right, back there. Yes. Kayla, is that you? No.
That
someone else.
bad.
I don't- There you go.
Okay.
Shiny object syndrome.
She can do
Oh,
it.
okay, so can you tell me about that? Like, you just get distracted easily? Or
Yeah.
which part of that?
Okay.
The
Yeah.
distracted part.
That's
Because you want to do all the things all the time.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Want to do all the things all the time. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Who relates to that? Want to do all the things all the time? Okay. All right, there's a few. Who else can share really quickly? Which one do you identify with and why? And consider your professional growth, your professional, how are you, your journey forward of continuous improvement? What of these might hold you back in moments?
All their good stuff. Hey, did you see the balls?
Shoot up a hand.
Exactly. Well, why don't
Going once. It's going to get uncomfortable. I need at least one or two more. There's one.
So I know at times I can suffer from swamp thoughts,
Yes.
and being fearful can really limit your growth.
Yes.
And you miss out on opportunities you miss out on opportunities just thinking about everything that could go wrong instead of thinking about what could go right.
Yes. Yes. Woohoo!
Love it.
Okay. All right. Give me one more person in the back. There we go. I feel like this side is just leaving it to this side, and I'm going to need y'all to step it up.
I also have a problem with swamp thoughts,
Uh-huh.
just because I do tend to get caught up in all of the details and everything that needs to be done, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden becomes this huge pile of stuff, and then you end up getting nothing done because you're too worried about the big pile.
Yes.
I will say, just to change it up, though, I run up against Titanic syndrome sometimes
Okay.
in other tiers,
Uh-huh.
and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so here's what I want you to consider. What is yours? I'm not going to make you say it out loud, even though I really want to. I'm not going to, but I want you to consider what is hindering you. Because if you can identify what's hindering you, that is a huge step forward towards continuous improvement. So also within this set portion, so we get set, which is when we optimize, we identify our hindrances, and then we strategize our growth. We strategize, where do I want to go from here? How am I going to remove the hindrance? Or when I remove the hindrance, what am I going to move towards? And this really has to do with your goals and how you strategize for them. So again, we're still in set, so I'm wanting you to think about your personal, professional goals right now. And this was really important to your leadership team, is that we take this time for you to consider how continuous improvement can apply and that you can benefit from it in your own personal growth trajectory. So this has to do with your goals and your strategy. I think of it like a bridge, as you see there. So if your goals are the top of the bridge and your strategies are your legs, you need both of them in order to build a bridge to continuous improvement. I don't know if you've ever known anyone, known a leader, known a person who's got big goals, right? You ever know anybody? They talk big talk. They're like all these lists of goals, right? But do they have a strategy? And oftentimes you might know someone who's got big goals, but they ain't got no strategy. And if you have goals and no strategy, that's dead in the water. It's not going anywhere. It's not a bridge to continuous improvement. In the same way, you can have people who are really good at strategizing, really good at just moving towards something. But if they're lacking a vision and goals that pull them forward, they also will not be making continuous improvement. They might just be, stuck in the mundane. So it requires both of these things. I want you to consider, what are your personal and professional growth goals to improve? Do you want to upskill? Or how do you need to upskill? Maybe it's a need more than a want. Do you want to have some more career mobility within the department, within the teams? Do you want to have a succession plan so that when the time comes up and a job opens up, you're like, I'm going to jump on that, and you have a plan to do it? What are your goals? And that's just a couple of suggestions there. And then the second question is, how are you going to strategize to make that happen? We're going to take another minute here and give you a second just to jot a couple things down. What are your personal and professional goals? You're not going to turn these in. No one's going to look at them. This is literally just for your own benefit right here. But consider what it is. What is your next goal? What do you want to move towards? Do you want to get, be the best at what you do? Or do you want one of these things here? Like, write it down. But then you've got the legs underneath it, which is, what is my strategy to do that? If you just have a goal and no strategy, 99%, it's not happening. I mean, we all have seen this happen, right? But if you set a goal and then you also have a strategy, you are going to succeed. And it might be like one of those shoot for, the moon and hit the stars kind of thing. But whatever it is, you're going to make progress. And so write that down. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do that. Jot a couple things down. Starting now, we're going to play a little bit of music and just write down one goal or 1 or 2 goals. And then write down maybe 1 or 2 strategies. And they can be simple. They can be complex. You can go back to this at another time. You can talk to your upline or your leaders about this at some point, but if you want to. But the important thing is that you identify what your goals are professionally as a leader.
Hi, I put to be more positive.
Okay, to be more positive. You seem like a positive person, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. I try to be, but I'm not. I can
Don't worry about it.
like you said, like leadership and stuff, like take that
Yes.
role. It's hard.
Yes.
But I think like
I'm just
I want to
So
work
what's
on
the
that.
strategy?
My strategy, I guess, like
Excuse me,
come
sorry.
in and like ask people like good morning, like be more involve everybody around me and like try to
Yeah.
get everybody like interact and
Make a habit of in the morning doing that.
Yeah.
Like setting the day. The
like
tone.
hit a highlight of like your day, like
Yes.
ask them, what was the highlight of your day, like a small
Yes.
question to get everybody like, oh, they care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right, so I love that she had to say, because even in the simple things like I want to be more positive, if you don't strategize it, you're not going to do it. Like, and you can literally put it in your calendar. Like, you can be like, or put it in your meeting agenda. Ask this question at the beginning, right? Or you can put it in your calendar every morning. Just to say, but here's the deal: if you're not planning, if you're not strategizing, it's just not going to happen. So this is very, very important when it comes to how you want to grow as a leader, as a professional. Okay, yes.
Okay, my goal is to be a e-builder.
Say that again.
An e-builder pro, which is our challenge in our department.
Okay.
It's a new
Yes.
new platform that we're using.
Yeah, yeah.
And so my strategy is to ask questions, see if I can get extra training, and
Yes.
practice.
Yes. Yes. Good job. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. When it comes to, I mentioned this, but when it comes to like the new technology, new platforms, all these things, like it's real, people. Like, we all feel like the strain of the change and changes, I should say. But it's not just going to naturally happen. We have to be intentional, which means intentional about our goal, intentional about our strategy. If we refuse to improve with it, we end up being left behind. And so in one way or another, I just challenge you to go, how can I grow as a professional for your own benefit? I get no benefit out of telling you this. Like, to keep growing, to keep improving. I feel it myself. It is a challenge, especially when it comes to learning new things, and especially when you're comfortable with some of the things in your life and your profession. And so keep continually growing. All right, so last little section here is that we have the ready position, right? We start off grounded, assessing what's going on, accepting new realities. Then we get set. This is when we strategize, we optimize, we set those goals, we make a plan. And then the last thing we do is that we actually take off. Like, we push off, we go, we take that first brave step, and then we follow through. Ready, set, go. One of my favorite movie quotes is from We Bought a Zoo. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this line in it where the main character says, all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, and I promise you, something great will come of it. And he was trying to encourage the people around him, like, we just got to be brave. It's that first step. So if you are not making continuous improvement right now, and then you need to start making continuous improvement, there is a first step that will be inevitably very, very hard. And accepting that and coming to terms with that is what this is about when you take off. What is that hardest first step that you need to take to put continuous improvement in motion? Is it to sign up for an online course? Is it to get a mentor, to have a conversation with somebody that said, I need help? Nobody likes to say that, right? I need help. It's a tough thing to stomach when you got a little pride in you. Do you need to have a conversation with your upline, your leadership, your team leader about what your goals are? That could be a really hard conversation, okay? Or maybe you need to have a conversation about a problem or a hindrance, and that's a hard, tough first step towards improvement. Or maybe it's having a conversation with your spouse or loved one who you are accountable to, like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and this is my goal. And that could be a really tough conversation to have. It might take time away. You might have to readjust some things. Like, especially if it's a new role or something else, you got to take on something new. Whatever that is, what is that hardest first step that you need to take to put this thing in motion? I'm not going to do the pause at this point. We're just going to continue moving on. You can jot it down if you want, but I do want you to consider what that is, so that when this is over, if at the very least that you can just take one step towards continuous improvement, I know that it will create momentum moving forward. The second part of going, of course, you take off, you take that difficult first step, but then the second part is that you actually follow through. And I could take so much time on this one because this has to do with the boring part, the monotony, but it also has to do with perseverance, pressing through the hard times, has to do with balancing, because inevitably when you set off to reach a goal, things change, and so you have to kind of adjust as you build. There is a book called Drive, and it's the surprising truth about what drives us and motivates us. It's by a guy named Daniel Pink, and I love this book because it was really eye-opening even for me personally. You know, we all think that we know what motivates other people, but even ourselves. Like, if you ask somebody what motivates people on the job, most people will say money, right? Or rewards, or benefits, flexibility, that kind of thing. But those actually aren't the deepest and biggest drivers of us as human beings, as professionals, or human beings in general. Our biggest drives come from a much deeper place. It comes from that sense of autonomy and strength that I can do this, that I can accomplish something. It also comes from that same place where we are connected to other people. You talked about your why in the very beginning as I'm helping people, or I like my team, or I like, creating change. Whatever it is, there's a why that's deep in all of us. And it's not money and rewards or benefits. It's something much greater and deeper. And in the moments when we're following through with goals and times get tough, this is when it's most important to recognize your drive. To recognize what is your key motivators. Because if you can tap into that drive, you can press through the seasons where perseverance is required, where you have to downsize the budget and you don't want to, or when you have to adjust your schedule to help somebody else out. What is your why? In those moments, that's when it helps you drive forward. And I want to highlight here, not only is there this autonomous element that we all want, like we all want to be autonomous within ourselves and leaders and self-motivated, self-determined, but we also need to be connected to one another. There's something within all of us where we need this connection to one another. And in the tough moments when we're following through, that's when we need to have a plan and an understanding of who am I listening to in those moments. because we all have our go-tos of coping and secluding, not talking, or maybe acting out in different ways. But here's the deal: if you don't plan how to handle it right, you're just going to revert back to the old ways. And so what do you do, and what do you need to do? Who will you listen to when you need the support for continuous improvement? I know there's mentorship programs within the departments and different things, but even if it's not a formal mentorship, consider who in your department, who on your team, what leader that you interact with, that I will go to them. I know I can go to them when times get tough. And you may be in a tough time right now. And if you are, then consider this like a little wake-up call, like, all right, I need to reach out. I need to talk to somebody. Because following through is tough, and we were made to have that connection, not only that autonomy, but that connection to help one another through, right? Can I get a good yep, yep, yep? Yep, yep, yep. All right. So we get ready, we get grounded, we assess, we get set, we optimize, we strategize, we take off, and we go. Ready, set, go. All right, everyone say it with me. Say ready, set, go. Okay. And then we make progress. And when, not if, but when you make progress, it is so important that you take a moment to celebrate, that you enable yourself to have that positive reinforcement, and also within your teams, within your departments. What can you celebrate? The small wins, the big wins, something like that. How I want to end this is I want you to consider some small and big wins that we can celebrate, or that you can celebrate as a professional. Maybe it has to do with you. Maybe it's something that happened this year. I mean, this is a yearly meeting, so think back on the last year. What's one thing that your team accomplished? Maybe you want to tell on somebody next to you who won't speak up that they accomplished something. Like, what can we celebrate? What can we celebrate that's small, that's big? It doesn't matter the size of the win, but we need to celebrate it, celebrate what happened this year, celebrate the ground that was taken, the improvements that you have made, the way that you have adapted to change, the way that you made it through some tough times, or whatever it is, let's celebrate it. So I'm going to take a couple volunteers to mention these things, and every time someone tells something, we all have a responsibility in this moment, and that is to actually celebrate. So whether that's a woo-woo or like a clap, or if it's a yeah, I don't care. Do something, okay? Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay. All right. So what are some small and big wins that we can celebrate? I'm going to write them down here. And people with the microphones, I'm going to need your help just identifying. Okay.
Give a shout out to my coworker right over here.
Yep.
Within the last few months, she has been dedicating her time to developing dance skills with our after-school program, and has really been getting the kids involved.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Developing
Love
dance.
it.
And I'm going to put
Love it.
community involvement too.
Love it.
Community.
Love it.
What else?
I hear my name. Okay, when we have a notification of an employee giving a resignation, we do not wait until the resignation is concluded. As soon as we get it, we accept it, and then we advertise for the position in order to reduce the number of vacancies we have in the department. So, woohoo to all the hiring managers.
So how would you,
Awesome. Hoorah.
what would you call that? Like
Awesome.
faster processing? She can't hear me. Faster processing. I'm going to write
Yes.
that down.
Faster processing for vacancies.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. What else?
You got one here?
I just sat down with this gentleman, and he said that this whole group goes out in the middle of the night and answer calls. So I think that's great, that the city is not just 8 to 5.
Yes. Give it up for that table, those people. Yes. Well, I'm going to, what can we call that?
Don't do them like that.
On-call support.
Yeah.
I'm going to put excellent, because that's more than...
I love it.
Hi, I'm with Education Outreach and Library, and last year we got to pilot mobile programming with Fort Worth Housing Solutions, where we go out and do a story time for low-income apartments that might not be able to reach their library. We are now in our second season. All the kids get a story time, a craft, and then a book, donated book that they get to take home.
That's awesome.
Woo! Our libraries are amazing.
All right.
So TPW Capital Delivery, we build roads and signal lights and sidewalks. We encumbered about $100 million in construction projects this past year.
Wow, TBW, Concord. Did you say Concord? Because that's what I heard. Did you say Concord? Encumbered. Yeah.
$100 million. TPW.
All right.
Amazing.
Amazing. All right.
Amazing.
I'm going to stop right here because the paper's almost full and we're out of time. But I see a lot of things on here, and really it spans the spectrum as far as what it relates to, because there's everything from community dance parties and piloting mobile programming to TDWs, that win right there, to faster processing, on-call support, people who go above and beyond. I no doubt, and I have heard stories even preparing for this, of how amazing you guys are and these teams are. And so, you know, many of your teams, many of your departments, you live and breathe continuous improvement. But again, creating a culture of this requires it to always be on the table. And so I want you to consider today, where can we improve? Celebrate the wins, and you'll have more time to do that as the day goes on. But consider, where can I really put continuous improvement into action this coming year? Remember, you get ready, you get set, you go. You get grounded, you optimize, you plan, and then you take off and you accomplish. I want to thank you guys for letting me be here with you, and I really enjoy my time with you, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your session. Kayla, come on up.